The past is gone. Now's the future.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode number 3 of the Piledriver Pundit podcast. I am your host, DC, and it's been a minute. I had the holidays to contend with, and I also had a bit of a nasty cold to contend with as well. But no worries, we're back. Well, I should say I'm back. And at the time of recording, it is Saturday, January the 27th, 2024. It's Royal Rumble Day. And wow, what a week it has been. There's been a lot. There's been quite a bit going on in the wrestling world. And you know what? I figure what better thing to do than to just dive right on into it. And I feel I would be remiss in my duties. And folks, you know, this is straight up, no opinions, not just, and certain stories, this is just going to be what it is. And I just want to get this out of the way because I do not like the topic. I think it's disgusting, abhorrent, repellent, whatever word you want to use. And that would be good old Vince McMahon. And the allegations relating to him. Yeah. A former, and I'm not going to read the allegations. The information is out there if you choose to find it. There's some pretty explicit text messages. Basic gist is there was a female staffer who was interviewed for a position, and there was I don't know how to phrase this without getting too explicit, because that's not what I want to do. There was some very, very serious stuff alleged. There were text messages saying that the relationship was not professional and it was sexual in nature. And it alleged that, according to these text messages, that it wasn't just Vince. Also named was John Laurinaitis, who you all remember, People Power, which, it's disgusting that we even have to have those conversations. So, one of the other things alleged in these situations was this all occurred in between, I believe it was between 2020 and 2022. There was a superstar who Vince was trying to get re-signed to the company, and allegedly, because innocent until proven guilty in this country, it's a thing. It was alleged that he told the staffer to create sexually explicit material and send it to him. She did, and the superstar ended up re-signing with WWE, and there was more that went on with those two. It was never explicitly stated who the superstar was. What was stated was that this person was a former WWE champion and a former UFC champion. That's only like 2 or 3 people. And who came back between 2020 and 2021? That narrows that list down to uno. And that would be Brock Lesnar. And let's just say, if this is true, if Brock did these things and Vince did these things, there are things that make a lot more sense now. One of the things I've seen on Twitter /X/ the various other places was that Vince when Vince had announced when they announced his resignation slash retirement, it was last summer that Brock had stormed out of the arena. Was that how is that connected to this in any way, shape, or form? I don't know. Maybe. Now, because Brock has been named, it's been heavily speculated that Brock Lesnar's return plans have been or deleted. It was alleged that he was supposed to return at the Royal Rumble tonight. At the time of recording, it is 6:40 p.m. Royal Rumble won't start airing for about another hour and 20 minutes. And I got to imagine the men's Rumble match will probably go on last, if not second to last. So we'll see. Maybe Brock does come back. But I've got to think bringing him back right now would be a PR nightmare. Maybe he comes back at some other point. I don't know. It's a tough call. It's a very, very sad situation when somebody is pressured to put in these kind of situations, these relationships. And look, we don't know. We don't know everything that went on. We only saw these text messages. Do I have a feeling that more and more is going to come out? Yeah, I think more is going to come out. Yesterday, Friday the 26th, it had been announced that Slim Jim was pulling out of advertising for the WWE Royal Rumble. They have since reinstated their sponsorship deal. Part of the reason they did that, at least I think, is that Vince McMahon announced that although he denies these allegations entirely, they're baseless, this and that. We've heard this story, this song and dance multiple times from him and people like him. And who knows? Maybe he's right. We don't know. But he is resigned effective immediately. He is no longer in charge of TKO WWE. He's not there. And today, the 27th of January, so not 24 hours later, Ronda Rousey posted on X, and let me actually see if I can pull that up so we can see what exactly she said. Ronda Rousey said, quote, Bruce Pritchard is basically Vince's avatar. If he's still around, Vince still has a hand in the business. Vince was still running things through Bruce when he was, quote, gone before. So, yeah, I gotta think with all this going on, and when you have sponsors that are now looking at like, ooh, does that make and now this is a different story. This isn't the old time when it was, just WWE themselves. This is Ari Emanuel. If I'm him, if I'm Ari Emanuel, I'm looking at like, okay, time to clean house. I'm seeing who else was involved, who knew, who covered this up. So it's a very tough call. So I feel like there is more to come in all this. So we will see. I don't feel that we've heard the last of all this. More to come. Now, the other deal, and right before this happened, they announced that Monday Night Raw was going to Netflix, which is huge. I believe the deal was 10 years, $5 billion, which is huge. Like, to give you the idea of the sheer scale of this, Raw has always been on, they've either been USA or Spike TV, TNN, but they've always been on cable TV. Now they're not. And to go on Netflix is big. And from what I understand, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, is now we have everything going to Netflix. They're going to have the entire kit and caboodle WWE library and all the PLEs. So that's going to be, WrestleMania's next year. That's going to be, the previous library, the library, the WWE, WCW, ECW, basically anything they own is going to be Netflix. That's huge. That is massive. And this deal is set to take apart. Let me just pull up my calendar here. Okay. January 6th, 2025 will be the first Monday in 2025. The fly in the ointment here is I believe their deal with USA ends in October. So that's a period from like 3-ish months where's Raw gonna go? Do they just run off Peacock for, those however many months? I mean, they could do that. It's doable. Do they go to the CW where NXT is going to be? Do they sign a short-term deal with not AEW, with USA? What do they do? I think this is. I made this statement on another show that I appear on with some very, very fine gentlemen. And I stated, this is a brave new world. This is something that we've never had before. I think you're going to see this more. We saw it a couple weeks ago when the NFL was broadcasting a game on Strictly Peacock. I think that's going to be the next frontier. You're going to have people that, they are trying to see what's financially feasible, what makes the most sense financially. And then I think you're going to see that. You're going to see places go to Max, go to Peacock, Netflix, Prime. It was speculated that Raw might go to Amazon Prime, which would have been kind of strange, but whatever. But what does this do? What does this do for other promotions? I've got to think this also frees up Monday nights. Does Impact try to move to Monday nights again, or not Impact, TNA? Do they go back to try doing Monday nights again? Does Tony Khan be a little froggy and say, you know what? I wonder, do I do it? Do I do it? I mean, Monday or Wednesday night is their night, but does he think, is it doable? I'm not somebody that pays attention to ratings. I could care less. I care more about the quality of the shows. Would rate it at what I would do. I would run a couple episodes of Collision on Mondays. See how it would work. See if there's interest. If there's interest, maybe go to Time or Warner and say, hey, Monday nights are a thing. It's what can we do? So we'll see. I think, and also does does Tony Khan, because AEW is due to renegotiate their TV rights deal soon. Well, if they haven't already. And I've got to think that this is going to make him start to wonder, oh, well, if they're going to Netflix, what does he start to think, well, maybe Prime's going to be my thing? It's something that I don't think we can discount. It's because they've got Ring of Honor now. They got to do something better with that. You know, I would hope that they would do something with the Max app, which you know there's so much content on there. I love the layout of that. So I got to think that could work too. We'll see. The other big thing, one of the other big things that we had this week is, of course, the rumors of Kazuchika Okada and Mercedes Moné. And it seems like every couple of days they're signing with WWE. Oh, they're signing with AEW. We're gonna find out when we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out when they show up. You know, Okada, there was a story that he had signed with WWE and he was gonna debut on NXT, which I don't see that happening. Somebody like an Okada, who is arguably one of the absolute greatest, to have not wrestled in WWE. You're going to put him in NXT. I mean, great. NXT is doing really good stuff. They need the names. So we'll see. Would I like to see him in WWE? Oh, absolutely. I think, him and Roman would be really, really good. Him and AJ again, they had great matches in New Japan, would be really, really good. There's guys coming up from NXT that are phenomenal. There's Carmelo Hayes, there's Trick Williams, there's Ilya Dragunov. You can't tell me Ilya Dragunov versus Kazuchika Okada would not be incredible. Because it would be. Sign me the hell up. Mercedes Moné going back to being Sasha Banks. Oh, who knows? I mean, sure. Why not? It wouldn't be the worst. Would I be wild about it? The problem with a lot of these companies, with WWE and AEW, the rosters are bloated. You've got talent that is sitting in catering, just twiddling their thumbs. We'll see. Tonight, they had Andrade. They really didn't do much of anything with him. They're not really doing much with Miro. But you know what? I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say. Well, WWE does the same thing. Yeah, they do. I'm not saying they don't. There's more TV time. Use it. Have a forbidden door. Open it up so if you have somebody that's not getting a lot of TV time on Raw or SmackDown, have it where they can go to Japan or TNA or AEW. And, by doing this, it creates more opportunities. Is this something that would have ever happened under the Vince McMahon's rules? No. But maybe now that it can. I mean, we allegedly will have Jordan Grace putting in an appearance in WWE's Women's Royal Rumble tonight. Never happened before. I mean, we had Mickey James a year or two ago, so maybe that's something. I think you got to do something. I mean, there's plenty. The pie is big enough for everybody. For every promotion to have a slice of the pie. And I gotta think you would do even more business, make even more money by working together. Who's to say you don't have, Triple H and Tony Khan sit down and just say, hey, let's do business. Let's talk. Whatever happened in the past is in the past. Let's move forward and both make some serious money. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. You should be too. Also, this week, we had the reveal trailer of WWE 2K24. And, folks, I will say I am excited. There's a lot lot going on here. Lot going on. Sorry, still battling a cold. Have to engage in the cough drops. So, first things first. They had posted a number of teasers here, and it was very well done, by the way. One of the things, the big thing that they've done the past couple years is the Superstar Showcase. Last year for 23, it was Cena. For 22, it was Rey Mysterio. I don't think there was one in 2K20. I don't think so. Maybe there was. Oh, they had that weird story thing, where they had they had Bray Wyatt. They had the weird arenas and all that. So 40 years of WrestleMania. It's supposed to go through WrestleMania 1 up until WrestleMania 39. Now, with that, it said that we're going to have legends that we have never had in WWE games before. He was never in a WrestleMania, at least to my recollection. But if you pre-order, you get the Nightmare Family DLC, which, and I don't have it all here, is Dashing Cody Rhodes, where he had, the face mask. 1976, Steady Rhodes. You had Stardust, remember that guy? And Superstar Billy Graham, which is huge. My faction options for Mattel Cody Rhodes, where he had, the torn pectoral from the match with Seth. That's going to be a thing. And for the first time ever, Pharaoh. Cody's dog is going to be a manager option in my faction in 2K24. Because sure. One of the things they've also said is many different new match types. Now, what that means, how many, who knows? What they have stated and they have revealed is some such as Gasket Match is back. Actually, I don't think we've had it before in 2K games. Correct me if I'm wrong. Special Referee is back. I'm stoked for that. And also, we have Ambulance Match. That could be fun. I want to see more gameplay for the ambulance match now. Is it going to be is the ambulance going to be at ringside? Is it going to be like you're backstage? There's more environmental aspects that you can play around with in the backstage matches. There's a 4-person backstage brawl, which that's pretty cool. There's 2 different My Rise options like last year, where one for the men's division, one for the women's. It's Unleashed and Undisputed. The Unleashed is the men's storyline. Undisputed is for the female storyline. New superstars have done their voiceovers, done their own voice work. I believe it was Mick Foley recorded voice work. I think John Cena did too. And of course, the tribal chief Roman Reigns. Supposedly, I've heard, part of the men's My Rise is ultimately you gotta beat Roman. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. We'll see. More has been said about my GM. We're gonna get more brands. I've heard more beyond WCW, ECW, NXT. I've heard ECW is gonna be a thing. At least more with it. So does that mean ECW arenas? Is it, the WWE version of ECW? What is it? What are the options? I think we're gonna get more. And also, first time ever, supposedly, the stuff you earn in my faction, the stuff you unlock, will be carrying over into Universe, Exhibition Mode, what have you. That was one of the big things in this past year and year before. It was locked. Like you would unlock this stuff and just you only have it in my faction. We'll see. More arenas that we have never seen before. which that's cool. More arenas are good. I'd like to see more options as far as like maybe being able to do moves off the stage. That would be a thing. Personally, I would love to see an arena that utilizes the old WCW ramp, where the ramp goes right down to the ring. Like you don't go up the ring steps. I think that'd be a cool thing to do. Something different. Allegedly, the roster is going to be somewhere around 200 ish. There's supposed to be 5 DLC packs. One of the things, if you select the 40 Years of WrestleMania edition, there is going to be a 40 Years of WrestleMania DLC pack. There's a Charlotte alternate attire. I believe there's the Rhea Ripley from WrestleMania 36, where she wrestled Charlotte. That's supposed to be in there. The WrestleMania 40 arena itself is going to be in there. We shall see. Quite a bit going on. DLC has not been fully confirmed. Who's going to be in it? How many wrestlers? I believe though, if we're getting 5 packs, each pack for 23, I think had around like 5 or 6 different wrestlers in it. So realistically, if I'm betting, let me say around 25, maybe 30 wrestlers DLC. We'll see. On SmackDown last night, Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane have been crowned the new women's tag team champions. Good for them. Would have been nice if Kaden Carter and Katana Chance had, more time with the titles, but we'll see. I've got to wonder, does this fit in with more damage control? What's going on with that? It's a tough call. Do they turn on Bailey? What happens? I feel more is going to happen tonight. Supposedly Trinity, Naomi is coming back tonight. Supposedly. Also, allegedly, Tamatonga finished up with New Japan. So, is he WWE bound? Personally, I'm a Tamatonga guy. I would love to see him back. Maybe. This is why I love the Royal Rumble, because there's all the speculation. I'm still waiting for something to top what we had 8 years ago when AJ debuted. That reaction was huge. Time will tell. And lastly, and kind of a shocker to me, The Rock. Finally, The Rock has been appointed to the WWE/TKO board of directors. What does this mean? Does this mean he's going to wrestle more? Again? Ever? Does this give credence to him versus Roman happening at Mania or in Australia? What happens? Or, as I suspect, is he going to be the new face of the WWE now that Vince is gone? We shall see. But, folks, I just wanted to come in and do a quick show here tonight and say thank you for sticking around, for watching the previous episodes. I have more content coming within the days, weeks, months, years. A lot more coming on. Join me. Subscribe, like, share, do all that good stuff. Join me on my journey. Let's talk some wrestling. So, to quote one of my favorite movies, you stay classy, Internet, and thanks for stopping by.
The past is gone. Now's the future.